Don't you ever come aboard this war canoe like that again, my cocker. I'll have you guts for garters, and that's not a threat, it is a promise. Has he been reported, that one?
No, he hasn't, sir.
Have they started to come in now?
Yes.
6 Golf.
6 Golf.
Yeah, correct. Correct. 3. They're different. One in sick bay.
He's one. Yeah, sick bay's okay.
1 sick on shore.
Who's that?
Yeah. Stuart McClellan's back. What happened to you, young man?
Went ashore last night. I had a few drinks.
Basically, what we're trying to do is establish the state of the ship's company as regards personnel. So every mess on board comes down, and personally, the leading hand of the mess or the president personally reports into this office the state of their mess. Who's on board, who's not on board. The chap there you just saw come and reported an absentee. We've now got to ascertain whether the man is on board or not, and if he's not, then we've got to get his kit and everything else ashore for the shoreside authorities.
Have you got Doughty on that board there, Colin? 849. 824. Yeah, acute sinusitis.
All the other marks should be okay.
Well, I shouldn't think they're far away. I'd be very surprised, actually, if Benton and...
Excuse me, Ed, what was them 2 names?
Wyatt aren't on board.
Benton and Wyatt.
Butcher...
Well, so would I, sir.
I don't know. He's 809.
That's right, sir.
Yeah.
Don't report the port outer anymore.
Beadle. Now then, young man, I was in my office here this morning when you walked in, having been released from the cells where you've been placed for your own safety because you returned on board drunk.
That's correct, sir.
Yes, if you could have seen the state of yourself this morning, my son, you wouldn't be stood here like you are now. What happened to your trousers?
Well, I don't know, to be honest, like, so I can...
Well, what are you doing walking around with no trousers on, then?
Well, they're too wet to put on, like, so...
Oh, I see. Now then, where's your money?
I don't know, so I remember... I put it in the pocket, so I don't know where it is now.
What rating are you?
Assistant steward, sir.
You're still drunk now, aren't you, really? How much money did you go ashore with?
£10.
And how much have you got left?
From them, I should have about £4 left, sir.
Do you want...
You should have £4 left. Well, I'll tell you, my sunshine, you've got 5p. So it's an expensive run ashore, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, sir.
Hey? Somebody would be proud of you, my son, wouldn't they? Hey? I'm very proud of you, all right. Right. And what have you got these marks on your face with?
I don't know, sir.
You don't know? Take him around the sick bay, let them have a look at him. What a state to get in. I don't know what Mum would say to you, my old flower, but I've got a good idea, and I know what Dad would say. Well, it's one of the facts of life, my son. You drink a man's drink and you act like a man. It's as simple as that.
Oh, yes, sir.
You'll be charged with being drunk when you returned on board, and you will have to see the commander.
Well, I will investigate this case only. If I find there is a case to answer, I shall pass you on for trial by higher authority. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Read warning 1.
You're a seaman, executive. We're there like a bloody great big party. You have hair like a bird in future, my cocker, and I'll send you and get you a bloody perm and you can go ashore in hairnet. But you are not coming aboard my war canoe with hair like that, all right? You will get it cut and it will stay cut.
He said, give us your ID card.
This was Constable Williams, was it? Yes.
Sir, give us your ID card, to which I replied no. I gave him my rate and number and name, and that was all.
And your replies to them, when he told you that the facts would be reported, are substantially correct? You did say arseholes to you lot?
Well, at the time, sir, I was fuming, and I don't really remember now exactly the words I spoke, but it could be correct.
First, I feel there is a case to answer, right? And because there is a case to answer, I shall pass you on to the commander, right, for a summary trial. Right, commander's report.
Well, if you were fed up, you've got a problem or anything, why don't you tell somebody about it?
It's not really a problem, it's just been on here.
You know as well as I do. You improperly leave the ship, and somebody else has got to do your duty, haven't they?
Yes, sir.
The next thing is you're in trouble. You're a good lad. You haven't been in trouble for a long time. Why go and spoil it? Was this the last night in? Plus the fact one of your messmates has got to keep your duty for you, haven't they? They've got to keep your watch for you. See? Well, there it is, young McLaughlin. You'll have to see the officer of the day and subsequently see the commander. All right? Go on, off you go. Wait outside.
Something like 1,400 Ark Royals went ashore that night, knowing the ship was sailing the next morning, and all of them made it back to the ship on time and before the ship sailed, except you. Which caused a great deal of trouble to a lot of other people, quite apart from anything else. And one thing you must not do is miss your ship on sailing. You were very lucky that we had the helicopter going inshore to land the pilot, which was able to bring you off. Otherwise, it would have been a long time before you rejoined your proper ship, and that would have cost you a lot of money. I want no more of this from you, Butcher. Clear? All right, keep up the good work around the ship, but you've got to get a grip on this leave-breaking business, all right? 4 days pay forfeited, 10 days number 9s.
4 days pay forfeited, 10 days number 9s on cap. Left turn, and left with a quick march. Now on, Kelly. Sir. About him when he was ashore. Off, cap. On the 4th of February, sir, was drunk when he returned on board Her Majesty's ship Ark Royal from leave at 22:50. Do you understand the charge?
Sir.
How do you plead?
Guilty, sir.
Bruce pleads guilty, sir.
Right, what do we know of Kelly's behaviour when he returned on board?
He was quiet, sir. No problem, gave no concern to anybody. Very unsteady on his feet, sir. And usual symptoms of drunkenness.
Okay, how much had you had, Kelly?
Quite a bit, sir.
What's in your judgment is quite a bit?
About £9, sir. Cider, sir.
Scrumpy,
Yes, sir.
what can you tell me about Kelly, St. Mendelssohn?
He's been on board about 3 months, sir, and the last couple of months he's worked as a messman. He's been a very steady man during this time, well-behaved, polite, hard-working, no problems. I would like to point out that although he admits he was drunk, he was quiet, he caused no problems when he came off, sir.
Well, at least is that in your favour, Kelly. What was the occasion for the party?
Just the last night, sir.
Just the last night. Okay. Well, at least you were quiet and you didn't, ashore, as far as I know, bring Ark Royal into disrepute. Write it down to experience, but make sure you learn by the experience, because on this deployment there are going to be quite a few last nights before we sail, and I don't want you coming back smashed from any more of them, all right?
Sir.
9 pints of scrumpy is obviously too much. You've got to know when to stop, Kelly, or you'll get yourself into trouble and will annoy me. 5 days, number 9s. Of course, beer stopped to a month.
Left turn, left with a quick march. McLaughlin.
Sir.
Off at cap. M1 McLaughlin said he did improperly leave Her Majesty's ship Ark Royal at 2100 on the 4th of February 1976 to 0230 on the 5th of February 1976, thereby absenting himself without leave 5 hours and 30 minutes. Do you understand the charge?
Right, McLaughlin. I will investigate this case only. If I find there's a case to answer, I shall pass you on for trial to higher authority. You don't have to plead at this stage, but you may do so if you wish. Do you want to plead?
Yes, sir.
How do you wish to plead?
Guilty, sir.
Very good.
McLaughlin had the last dog watch on the date in question. Subsequently, he had the middle watch, which he was adrift for. The chief of the watch, MEA Hunt, sent somebody to check where he was, but this wasn't until 0230. At that time, he was not in the mess. Subsequent investigations by leading regulator Thorpe, McLaughlin admitted that he had gone ashore between the times stated in the charge, sir. He had nothing to say at my table. I placed him on your report.
As far as mitigation is concerned, McLaughlin, do you wish to speak for yourself, or do you want Lieutenant Crellin to speak for you?
Lieutenant Crellin, sir.
Is there anything you wish to say in mitigation at this stage?
Not at this stage, sir.
Very good. Captain's report.
Report on the cap. Left turn. Left for a quick march. What else at Preston?
What sort of a guy is McLaughlin? Do we know what's behind this?
Yes, sir. I saw him yesterday and read his horoscope a little bit. I mean, McLaughlin's McLaughlin, sir. On board, I've seen Mr. Jakes and the chief of his department. He's one of the hardest working boys on board. He'll work any other 10 men off the feet. He's got a girl. I saw him yesterday, looked at him and had a word with him and said, right, who's the girlfriend? And of course, it was a girlfriend. He went ashore to see her. That's all that was behind it, sir. We are starting him on his leading hands thing, sir. I've seen Mr. Jakes, and we're going to try and get him concentrating on this. And I feel if he does concentrate on bettering himself, he's going to be a great asset to the ship.
All right. I'll put those points to the captain. At the same time, you know my views on leading hands and responsibility, and this is the prime example of just being straightforward, bloody irresponsible, and lacking a sense of discipline, where the guy just walks off even though he knows he's due to go on watch.
Come on, you face up here. Come on, if you're coming for payment, chop chop, move yourselves.
Pay attention on the right. Really was in there. Ah! So like this. Hey.
Wakefield 179C.
48.
It wouldn't be so bad if you got a little bit of shoe polish or something on them things, would it? They've been digging the road up for 9 months in them. Come on. Self-pride, my son. Self-pride.
Beard 092G, sir. $58.
$22.
80.
Come on, move. Hey! Come on, you face up here. You don't come up here and like that. I know it's cold up there, but you do not wear one of them things in here. Do you? And you should know better, shouldn't you? Well, go on then. Move yourself. My God. I'll see you later then.
Hi, Jock. It's Jock Davis at the mail office.
You're here for Riley? Cartwright? No. Yeah. Oh, you're there for Cartwright, sir?
Here I am,
Sir, we're about 5-6 minutes late.
That's all right. I've got 30 customers.
Yeah, and I've got a commander waiting, sir, and I'm not used to keeping commanders waiting. Commander, this is reported as the witnesses. Ow! Off for a cap. On the 2nd of March, without reasonable excuse, did fail to attend the muster of both watches of the flight deck party to 800, a muster it was his duty to attend. Do you understand the charge?
Sir.
How do you plead?
Guilty.
Who pleads guilty, sir?
Were you?
I went to late breakfast, sir, and I went round and started doing mess checklists. We had a couple of lads doing a mess chain.
I'm £15 on cap. Left turn, left for a quick march. Carry on.
Yes, I'm not at all happy that the truth has come out of this matter. Yes, he was absent from both watches. I'm not sure at all that I necessarily believe where he was. I've dealt with it on the grounds that he was absent from both watches. But if Powell is going to play silly games, Powell had better just watch out. I hope he's well aware of this. He had one fright last year. I don't want Powell going back into his old ways, all right? Thank you.
But what you've got to be very careful of, sir, when when a man does come off like that, you'll get the chap that gets to the bottom of the gangway, shrugs himself, he knows he's got to get past you and get inboard, squares himself off, comes up the gangway, salutes, produces identity cards, knows who he is, and then he goes for it to turn in. But once he, after making the initial effort of getting over the gangway, he'll go down to the mess, and his 3 parts cut anyway. He's the danger man. He gets laid on his back. During the course of the night, he vomits, swallows his tongue. The following morning, you've more or less got to break his legs to get him out of his bunk. He dies through asphyxiation. It's a farce, this business about you lock a bloke up. It's a punishment, he's got to be charged. No, it's for the boy's safety, for the man's safety, that you lock a man up.
To protect him from further offences.
Protective custody, so that's it in a nutshell. It's protective custody, it's to stop him committing himself further. This is all it's for. And, I mean, you may lock him up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, at 6 o'clock, you go up and see him, what you like now, Smith? Or, you know, I've been a bloody fool, so I'm all right. And you let him out and give him a good talking to and say, well, look, come on, bloody grow up. You're acting like a big girl. Now, come on, let's get with it. And he'll say, well, I'm sorry, sir, I'm sorry for all the trouble, you know, and you admit it, tell the leading hand, keep an eye on him, and the kid's all right, but it's for his benefit. You're looking after him. You're not letting him commit himself so he's got a string of charges against him as long as you're around. It's no good. You know, it's just no good.
So how do we define drunk?
Well, you see, the definition of drunkenness...
Sometimes people will say things to me and it will go in one ear and out the other, and it won't affect me. But in talking to somebody like the Fleet Master at Arms, who is in fact junior to me in rank, I must say I feel very humbled when he tells me things, the experiences, and the authority with which he says it as well. He's so confident. He calls me sir, and it seems very odd. I must admit, I feel slightly uncomfortable. He knows so much. There's nothing on the ship which goes on that the Fleet Master at Arms doesn't know about.
A good yardstick, sir, is, would you, as an officer, be prepared to have this man as a part of your fire and emergency party? Would you like to send him into a compartment that you know is burning? You get various types of chaps that drink and various types of behaviour. There's different behaviour patterns. You get one chap that comes off, the only thing he wants to do is get his head down. You get another chap that'll come off and he wants to serenade the officer of the watch. And you get another one that, very occasionally, very rare really, that he gets to be a nasty bastard. And he wants to have a go at the officer watch. Well, the thing then, of course, is that the gangway staff, they'll be there and they'll say, right, sunshine, come on with me.
So the thing is, keep out of the way?
Well, as much as possible. So you know, you've had the finest training there is, sir, and you enlarge on it by your experience, and it'll come to you. It comes to everybody by experience. 99%, sir, is bloody common sense. Yes. It is, honestly, it's common sense. Darling, well, here I am once again, and today we sailed, and at last I'm pleased to say we're on our way home. This will be a surprise after my telling you that you wouldn't be getting any more tapes from me, but I've just heard that they're going to fly mail ashore as we pass Bermuda. We're dropping a passenger off. By the way, that thing you were talking about in the garden, if you go to over at Locks and get them slug pellets, put it on the garden and it'll save your lettuces and things getting eaten by the slugs. All right? I'm dying to see what you've done, obviously, and no doubt I shall have a pleasant surprise when I come home. Also pleased to hear about Cinders and that she's all right again. The problem about her putting weight on, of course, is one, I'm afraid, that's with us now for all the time. We shall have to be very careful, you know, how we feed her and take it from there. As I've been saying all along, you know, we've been looking forward to this day, but it's finally arrived. We didn't leave anybody behind, so of course that's going to make it a little bit better for me and the lads, but everybody's in good heart and lots of smiling faces. Off, caps.
Naval Discipline Act, Section 16.
Worth of gifts.
Come on, the quieter you are, the quicker we'll get through. And if you think I'm skylarking, my son, you better start thinking again. Now, shut up.
Cover off properly. What do you people want? You are seamen and will be piped for. 849B flight, Des. When they come, I want them filling over there, look. All right?
Come and see. You're old softy, aren't you?
Tom Wilkinson, the Fleet Master at Arms, can relax now with his own family.
He's got a squeaker in there.
Come to see you. Where have you been today? Have you been a good girl? Have you been a good girl? Come here.
The British for you.
How's that? Oh, come on. That's a
Enjoyed it. Very, very nice indeed, but I'd rather be home. Oh, there's no substitute for this place. Jolly good. Nice
Well, we'll see Maureen now.
Anyway, we'll see you later. We'll go for some fish for the dog. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, then. I was in Canada with the Scouts.
The Fleet Master at Arms, Tom Wilkinson, lives with his wife and their dog Cinders in the depths of the country, near the little market town of Castle Carey in Somerset.
Oh, there's on the Calgary, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, super.
Smashing, really.
Lovely.
Thank you, Sheila. Ta. 34, please.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ta.
Sir.
You had a good trip?
Yeah, super. Very, very nice indeed. Apart from the weather was very, very hot, but it was very muggy.
You managed to cope with everything, did he?
Yeah.
Right. Thanks, anyway.
Yeah.
Ta. Super.
See you later then,
Yeah,
Maureen.
all right, then, Tom. Thank you very much.
It's the Wilkinsons' 11th wedding anniversary today. Sheila doesn't know it, but from the middle of the Atlantic, Tom has organised a little surprise.
Did somebody bring something here for me this morning?
Yes, they did.
Oh!
Happy anniversary. That was a surprise, wasn't it? Hey?
With appropriate symbolism, the future of Tom Wilkinson and the ship he polices is linked. The Fleet Master at Arms retires in 1979, around the time that HMS Ark Royal is due for the scrap heap. It's the end of an era. In a navy where technology reigns, there's little room for ships and characters that are larger than life.
Good God. Only what, maybe 4,000 ton left, something like that.
Bloody hell. Really?
Yeah. Another couple of months of work, he'll be gone.
You poor old bugger. Oh.
She's not Fim anymore.
No, she bloody isn't, but she never bloody deserved this, that's for sure. No way. No way. God almighty, no thank you. Let the poor old bugger go with some dignity and pull the bloody plug out, I'll never know. I mean, the old girl was worn out, she was tired, and she was at the end of her life, but to see this is bloody heartbreaking. Things over there where kids literally work their guts out to get her clean and sparkling. I just left her and looked back along the jetty, and there she was in sort of all her bloody splendour, like. For what she did for England, and the country, she didn't deserve this. I don't think, anyway. You remember everything, you know. You can hear a tannoy blaring out, and you see little Wolf performing, and you remember in bad weather. You remember aircraft landing on, and there's a million memories.
He made a point, and the point was that he became a sailor, and by becoming a sailor, he was able to communicate with the sailors. And what's more, Bernard obtained the trust of the men. If you don't get their respect and trust, you might as well put your coat on and go home. You're never going to get anywhere with a sailor unless he trusts you. And Bernard earned that trust, and he was marvellous. It was 2 days before I was due to leave, and all my happy handlers, as I used to call them, they'd cleared lower deck, and they were there and presented me with with the painting. In fact, the painting was almost not quite dry when they presented it to me, you know, but I had tears in my eyes. I couldn't help it, you know, and a lump in my throat to think that they'd gone to all that trouble. And I think it's got on there to Uncle Tom from all handlers past and present. It was a terrific feeling, you know, to think that they thought that about me and to give me this sort of thing.
These people that made ships, I mean, she's just a lump of metal, she always was, but what's going through my mind now is all the kids and all the things that happen. I mean, they'll cut her open one day, I'll be the same, but they'll never take the memories away, not ever.
No, they never.